Destiny players, I know a lot of you didn't have time to watch the dev live stream on Tuesday, and a lot of you don't honestly have time to sift through it and find all the high points. Well, don't worry, I've already done that for you, and here are all the high points coming up right now. First and foremost, we see that the Echo has moved from Maya Sundaresh and onto Fikril, who didn't get away, and then it made its way to the Dreadnought. For those of you that haven't played Destiny 1, the Dreadnought was a patrol zone in there where we got to move around and do a lot of different questing inside of Oryx's throne ship. So this will be a new activity that we are doing on the Dreadnought. It will be called the Nether. This is going to be a 3-man activity similar to Prison of Elders, except rather than going through rounds, you're going to be going through an entire patrol zone, running around collecting boons and completing tasks. Some of you that are familiar with the Dreadnought will notice that it looks completely different. The dev team has done a really good job spoofing the place up with a little bit of like Taken resonance everywhere and things of that nature. So while it is going to be the same location, it's not necessarily going to be exactly the same. They have kind of beefed it up a little bit. And in the image that they showed us of this new Dreadnought and the concept art, you can see that Oryx is in the background, and that means that he's back in some shape or form. I'm not sure exactly what that is yet, but with them trying to revive him in Ghosts of the Deep, and now we see the Echo has all these great abilities, you can kind of assume that there's going to be some form that he comes back and gets to interact with us. So while we're on the Dreadnought, we get to activate these boons, and Sloan has showed us a way to harness this Taken power and use it to fight our enemies. We have some good boons, some even better boons, and some boons that will give you a huge buff while also giving you a curse. One of my favorites that they mentioned was going to be a glass cannon one, where you do significantly more damage but offset that with just the same amount of damage taken. Through this activity, you're not going to have any healing, so you have to kind of kit yourself correctly. That way you can get healing from other sources. So the activity looks super fun. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments. Next thing, they went through some of the weapons that we can expect to see. The first one that we saw was going to be a Strand support frame auto rifle. This one's going to be called Adamantite, and honestly, it's a great addition. We love the support rifle. We love using it, and it's going to be great for the new game mode, being able to heal your allies while you're doing the new Nether activity. And we are also finally getting an arc denial frame grenade launcher called the Psychopomp. It's going to have some rolls on it that will synergize with the new arc aspects coming into the game, so you're going to see a lot of bolt charge stacks coming from this weapon. And we all saw while they were going through it that the new support frame auto rifle came in an adept version, with this being an episodic weapon that raised some questions, but they did answer them. You are going to be able to get adept versions of the episodic weapons. This is a huge W for the community because it gives us something a little bit more to grind for whenever we're collecting these weapons. And they were listening to our concerns about the tonics, so they went and changed the whole format from the tonics back to kind of attuning towards the weapons. They brought up something similar to like a Tome of Want, where you can go attune towards the weapon, similar to how we do it in Onslaught with Zavala. Whenever we brought up the aspects with the new area denial frame grenade launcher, they decided to go through all of the new aspects that are coming to the game. If you guys didn't see that, we went through that in an earlier tweet about 2 weeks ago. If you guys want to see all the new aspects and what's coming with them and how you use them, you just go back to the tweet and watch that one. They then dove into the new artifact that we are getting next season, the Tablet of Ruin, and let me just tell you, it is beautiful. A lot of people, including myself, have been missing the particle reconstruction buff that came with the fusion rifles being able to weaken enemies. That was honestly one of my favorite seasons recently, where we had the fusion rifle debuff, and I'm glad to have it back in this season's artifact. Along with that, it said it was going to be themed on like subjugating your enemies, so a lot of these things are not necessarily arc or void or strand themed. You have all of those elements there. It's more about subjugating your enemy and keeping them down. So you have a lot of like volatile and weaken happening, and then most of your weapons that are going to be handling the champs are going to not be kinetic weapons. They're actually going to be special or heavy weapons. The only one that could possibly be kinetic would be the barrier sidearm, but obviously, as you guys know, with all the new rocket sidearms and things like that, I'm not really taking a kinetic sidearm into a mission. I'm going to bring one of the rocket sidearms. Another barrier is going to be the barrier sniper, which I know is a fan favorite. We also have unstoppable glaive and then unstoppable fusions and LFRs. And the only thing we really see for overload is going to be overload LMG, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. There are a lot of other ways to handle overloads. You can do some chill, you can do some suppression, things of that nature. But obviously, you know, Consecration Slam Titan being able to go radiant and handle unstops and barriers at the same time, not really that good. anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how the Overload LMG plays out. Next, they went to show us some Vault of Glass weapons, and the reason why they were showing us these weapons was not necessarily because they are reprising them or reworking them. They are giving us red borders and enhanceable versions of the Adept version of these weapons. So that gives us another reason to get back into Vault of Glass and maybe farm for those red borders. That way we have a forever craftable version of our Fatebringer or Found Verdict, or even the Hezen Vengeance if you like to use that. They also showed us some new exotic weapons coming. They didn't really confirm how we're going to be getting these exotic weapons, whether or not they're part of the dungeon or whether or not they're part of the exotic mission. But they did show us all the weapons that we're going to be getting for the new exotics. The first one was the Barrow Dyad, which is a new strand SMG with a really sick frame. This weapon's building blights as you kill enemies, and even if you hit like a 1-for-all on it, I think one of the perks lets you give more blights. And those blights will either refill the weapon from reserves, or whenever you do like a hard reload, it will change it to an alternate fire mode. This alternate fire mode will give you blight seeker rounds, I assume homing rounds, similar to the Osteostriga. So that SMG looks really good, but the other weapon is going to be the Lodestar Trace Rifle. This is a new primary ammo trace rifle. We haven't had one of those yet, and it is actually going to be an arc trace rifle as well. That's going to be good for build crafting with this new bolt charge and the new arc aspects. I'll be excited to see how this thing plays into those. The perk for this one is dealing arc damage from any source, and while you're dealing that damage, you're going to be building up alignment. Whenever you are fully aligned, you can do an alternate fire mode. You release the safety on this and it turns into a hip fire, and that will allow you to apply jolt to targets. But if you wanted to save your alignment, you can also go to a ADS mode and save your alignment and then only hit fire whenever you have to. They also showed a couple of reprised weapons that are returning, one of them going to be Cold Denial, and the next one is going to be Whispering Slap. I'm sure a lot of you bow users are super happy to have this back. It does look like it's going to have some new perks, so I can't wait to see what's on all these reprised weapons. Our new dungeon rewards got revealed with the new hoodie, or actually like work jacket, I think is what they called it. It's going to be like a jacket with a hood on it. It does look pretty snazzy. I don't usually pick up all these hoodies that they give out for the dungeons and raids and stuff like that, but this one might be an actual grab. And last but certainly not least, this got everybody hyped at the end of the live stream. They are doing a Star Wars collab, which goes live next week as well with Heresy. You're going to be seeing a Shock Enforcer or Stormtrooper Titan, a Royal Protector Warlock with the all red, looks sick, and the Covert Ranger Hunter. They also showed us a Death Star Ghost Shell, which actually looks pretty cool, but they also said there's going to be ships and sparrows and things like that come with. I'm super excited about everything that's coming with Heresy, all the new weapons, the new activities, and things of that nature. Hopefully you guys are as well. If you enjoyed the video or found it informative, please make sure you like, comment, share it with a friend, follow, and subscribe depending on which platform you're on, and we'll see you in the next one.